Hey everybody, I miss you guys, and I just want you to know that I'm thinking about you. And I want to remind you that if you have any questions, you make sure that you send me an email or um, send me a message in Google Classroom. I also want to remind you, don't forget that you can pick up your lunches and breakfast every day between 9 and 12, and you can pick them both up at the same time. So don't forget, Monday through Friday, go pick up those lunches. I hope you guys have had a good week. I know that some questions came up the other day, and I wanted to talk about those a little bit. We were talking about abstract art, and some of you said, Mrs. Lewis, how can this be art? Anybody can do that. Well, anybody can't do that. We can try, but to make it good artwork, what do we have to do? We can't just throw something down on the paper and say that it's abstract art. Because for it to be good and for it to speak to people, which is what we want our art to always do, to draw attention and keep people's attention, what do we have to include in that? How are we going to make that good abstract art? Well, we have to include the 7 elements. We have to include those 7 elements. So what are you going to include in your artwork? How about line? That's pretty much a given. We know that we're going to use line. But how can we use line better? Well, we can use different variations of line, maybe not just straight line. How can you switch that up? That's something I want you to think about this week. How can you switch up using line? Okay, we've got line. What else are we going to do? Shape. Shape. Think about that. We have different types of shapes. Doesn't have to be squares and circles and rectangles, triangles. What else can you do? What else can you do? What kind of shapes do we have? Those are geometric shapes. We also have organic shapes. So don't forget that those can be those made up shapes or those free-form shapes that sometimes we forget about. Those can bring a lot of interest and contrast to those or to the circles and squares and triangles and all those shapes. How about color? I know some of you at home only have pencils right now. So why do we talk about color? Well, color can mean a lot of things. And yes, you can do different colors with a pencil. You can. And that brings us to value. When we use the side of our pencil and create different values, then we get different colors, or I see those differently. So we want to make sure that you're using those so that we get contrast and we have different shapes or different textures. Ooh, there's another one of those words, another one of our elements, texture. You can create texture with that pencil. So now we have line, shape, color, texture, value. What else do we have? Form. Form. How are we going to give something form? What if you drew a circle? How are you going to give that form? I think some of you probably know, and some of you have probably said it, but just shading that circle to become a sphere makes it form. Some of those lines that you put on there are those cool organic shapes. When you start giving them form and making them 3-dimensional, then they look like they're coming out of that picture. Then we get different interests, don't we? Yeah, good thinking. And the biggest thing that I want you to think about is the very last element, and that is space. So how are you going to use your overall space for all those things that we've talked about to come together? Where's your point of emphasis going to be in that space? How are you going to make your entire space come together and not just look like different objects stuck around the page? How is that space all going to come together in one unique picture? Okay, so your assignment for this week is to create a piece of abstract art using the 7 elements. Now, if you don't remember what those are, which I think you all should, if you don't remember what those are, I want you to look them up online, the 7 elements of art. We're not going to worry about principles of design today, so just your 7 elements. And I want you to really concentrate and make sure that you're including all those. And I think you'll find that once you start including some of them, you'll realize how they all start coming together. They're all related to each other. So how are you going to make that work for you? Have a good week, guys. Love ya. Bye.